Oil prices are sliding this week as President Trump says he's now personally involved in negotiations with Iran and thinks a deal is close.
I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer.
Has a deal been reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I don't want to say it has been. It's sort of open right now. You know, we have a thing called the blockade headed up by the U.S. Navy, and we control it. I'm involved in the negotiation. I think we're doing fine. It could be soon.
The president also denying reports that the military is low on munitions, saying that supplies are in great shape. All right, Steve, where do we stand today on this Iran stuff?
Sadly, reminds one of a joke now on the internet that President Trump's going to get the Nobel Peace Prize because he's brought peace in Iran 8 times, ended the war 8 times. And the Iranians know, sadly, that they're all looking at the midterm elections. So this deal, yes, it'll calm things for a while. But the fact of the matter is the government's still in power. Big mistake doing that ceasefire in April. The war would have been over by now if we completed those targets and other things. And so this deal, in terms of a real change in the Middle East, not worth the paper it's written on. And by the way, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan just signed a defense pact. Bad things are starting to stir in the Middle East because they can't trust the U.S. anymore. Not good. So take what you can when you can, but I don't think this is a new day in the Middle East.
And why aren't we going full force ahead?
It's a good question. But I think he's been under pressure, the president, from the Saudis and others who are afraid of attacks on their desalination plants, their energy facilities and the like. And but he should have, back in April, and we said this back then, so it's not backseat driving or Monday morning quarterbacking, that you go through on the targets, you close Karg Island, you close the routes overland, and you bring the Iranian regime down, because inside there are very real dissidents in the military, but they're not going to move if they think that government's going to stay in power. And then we're going to pull the rug out from them. Right now, the Iranians, amazingly, the Revolutionary Guard thinks they have won the war strategically. Not in terms of damage, but strategically they now, in their minds, control the Strait of Hormuz. The Houthis now are getting control of the Red Sea. That was not the status of before this war began. So in essence, what we're doing in opening the strait is to go back to where we were before the war began.
Jackie, this is making me, sort of question when we think about the Gulf nations. We're in charge, we dictate the pace, but yet we're doing a lot of deals where he just said, well, Saudi Arabia is signing a deal with Turkey because they don't know if the U.S. will be there, but we haven't gone full steam ahead because Saudi Arabia doesn't want us or Iran to attack the desalination plants. So there's a lot of mixed feelings in this, and I think a lot of trust issues with a very fragile relationship that we had even coming into this with those Gulf nations.
Absolutely, and I think that the president tried to strengthen the region in term 1 with the Abraham Accords, and I think that he thinks when this does come to some sort of resolution, there will be more strength than disconnect. But I also think that the allies in the region are thinking about the reality of what the Iranians could do to them. And I think that the president hears people and he listens, and so he takes some of that into consideration. He also said the other day that he doesn't want to have to kill more people. And I think that matters to him. My hope, Steve, is that the economic sanctions have been working. I was on your same side, and I still am. I would have liked to see the military initiatives move forward and have moved forward sooner. But now that they haven't, I'm wondering if there's like a starvation tactic here of drying up the money and potentially causing this regime to collapse on its own. And that's why the president is waiting, because there's got to be some reason, something in it for him too, for waiting like this. I don't know. Maybe it's wishful thinking.
Well, we hope it's just more than the midterm elections and that the Iranian regime is tottering and that you do get an internal collapse. But again, unfortunately, the Revolutionary Guard has the guns right now. And how long is it going to take? If people really felt the president's just going to see them out and, in effect, starve them out, as you did in sieges in the days of old, you would see a regime change sooner. But what the fear is inconsistency. One announcement one day, another announcement the next day, and that breeds uncertainty. When you have uncertainty, good things don't happen.
Good things are happening in this market, Josh. We talked about climbing this wall of worry. I'm shocked at the resiliency of this market, focused on the strong earnings that we talked about last block. But even in the face of Iran and oil prices that are back up to 80, 83 today, they don't care.
The market just it seems to have moved on.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the level of moves you were getting going back to March and April, by the way, when people like me were saying, hopefully this is 6 weeks, or if not, it's going to get really bad, and that just never happened.
Yeah.
But at that point, you were seeing massive 10, 20% swings to the upside, and the question was, oh boy, how high is this going? No one seems that worried about that question right now in terms of oil. It's not, is it going to go to 120? Is it going to go to 150? You have a call out there for 200. That conversation has just fully left the building. There's an interesting note in the Wall Street Journal this morning in one of their newsletters, just talking to oil traders. Because all of these oil traders, if you talk to anyone in April, they were talking about 150 for WTI. And again, maybe higher. They're now just sort of shrugging. It's mystifying us. We don't know why it's not going higher. Basically wondering where the barrels are coming from at this point, because they think it should have been higher, and it just isn't.
Because are we doing more of those, and you don't know the answer to that, but I'm just popping the question out there. Are we taking barrels of oil, the sneakily economic operation freedom? Remember when we came in May and they said, oh, in the last 6 weeks, we've snuck out a couple million barrels of oil. No one knew about it. We were like, that's why oil's not going up. We couldn't figure it out. So is there something happening perhaps that maybe we don't know, and that's why oil has been so calm?
Could be true. As you say, I don't really know. But what I can tell you, there's a story in the Wall Street Journal today, I believe it's today, about our oil producers working their fannies off to produce as much oil as they possibly can. A lot of it is coming from us.
Yeah.
And Venezuela, too.
How does this end?
It ends ultimately, hopefully, with a regime change in Iran. And then you get a constellation of forces in the Middle East. A successive government will be far better than this one. This one is out for turmoil. A new one will be out for consolidation and rebuilding. And the rise of a good Iran would be very good in calming that region down and also tempering the ambitions of countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey. And also we have to worry about, unlike the first term, isolating Israel, which is what's happening today, especially to see that new defense pact.
Yeah.
So regime change is the key. Otherwise, just expect the diplomats working overtime.
Okay.